We are a strategy consulting firm that is passionate about social impact. Our mission is to mobilize the most effective responses to the world's most pressing problems. Starting from a spare room in New York in 2001, we are now 350 professionals spread across 15 offices.
I interned at Dalberg before I left for Cambridge, and it just struck me how incredibly smart and dedicated my teammates were, and made me realize that this was the place I wanted to come back to as my first job. And the past 3 years have been just that. I've grown immensely, both professionally and personally, being in touch with the mentors that I've had here and the teammates I've had here.
The reason I picked Dalberg was just a simple one. Just one was its people. So when I spoke with them and I met them, I was just very struck with how down to earth they were, and yet how passionate and intelligent they were.
Diversity I see in office, so we have people ranging from lawyers to engineers. We have industry experts and we have people who've had years of consulting experience.
There's kind of a disparity that either you have a career which has a social motive, which means that you join an NGO, or you have a career that builds, your private sector kind of skill set or consulting toolkit. And that's not true, because you have a place like Dalberg where you can have both of these things.
First was being able to work in two of the most fascinating economies in Southeast Asia, Myanmar and Indonesia. And Myanmar, in fact, just changed the way I look at life, and it just made me grow as a person. I was in that country for 5 months, setting up solar home system distribution channels all by myself, where I didn't even know the language. Learned so many life skills, which I don't think any educational institute or any job would have taught me.
So I think my favorite part about working at Dalberg was just the breadth of problems that I came across. And since then I've worked on financing for solar water pumps in Gujarat. I've worked on studying how mobile internet is used by low-income communities in Kenya and Indonesia. I've worked on how financial services, digital financial services can be offered to low-income communities. So just the breadth of issues and problems I don't think I would have come across anywhere else.
There are many paths that a consultant at Dalberg can choose to take. The first of which being staying on at Dalberg and building a long-term career as a strategy consultant. The second is attending any one of the top graduate programs. We've been lucky to send our consultants to, say, Harvard, Stanford, Penn, MIT in the past. And the last is transitioning to opportunities such as in the government, private sector, or even starting up a social enterprise of their own, tapping into our rich alumni network.
I'll be moving by the end of this year to Ethiopia to work with the Prime Minister's office there on their agricultural transformation strategy of the country.
I'm heading to Harvard Kennedy School to study policy this fall. So in fact, after I'm done with Kennedy and after I'm done exploring, I totally see myself coming back to Dalberg and continuing on this amazing journey that has been so far.
I think global development is a complex problem to solve. It's incredibly challenging, and it is an unstructured world. If there's a person who enjoys putting his or her mind to this kind of a problem, and if this is the problem that inspires and drives them, then Dalberg's the place for them.